What are the health effects that working in the hot conditions? Heat exhaustion due to high ambient temperature. Dehydration due to excessive sweating. Heart stress and, in extreme cases, heat stroke due to prolonged exposure to high ambient temperatures. Burns from handling hot molten glass. Describe measures that the health effects of working hot environments. The health effects of working in a hot environment can be reduced by the gradual acclimatization of new workers. Even after the initial acclimatization, frequent rest periods will be necessary to allow the body to acclimatize to the hot conditions on a daily basis. Rest should be in cool areas which in summer may need to be artificially cooled. If, in addition, the humidity is high, a good supply of ventilation air will be needed, to help control sweating. Adequate supply of cold drinking water is essential to avoid dehydration. Workers in hot conditions should wear appropriate clothes, which must be a compromise between lighter garments to promote evaporation of perspiration, and protective clothes to prevent burns. It will be necessary to provide protective leather or fire-resistant aprons and gloves, and appropriate eye and face protection such as eye visors. Visors may need to be supplied with cooling air to keep people cool and permit proper vision. Screens could also be provided to protect workers from radiant heat. Periodic health surveillance should be provided. Workers should be trained to recognize ill health effects on others. What is the precautions of roof work? Prior to the commencement of work so that the required precautions may be identified. The particular hazards are fragile roofing materials, including those materials which deteriorate and become more brittle with age and exposure to sunlight, exposed edges, unsafe access equipment and falls. There must be suitable means of access such as scaffolding, ladders and crawling boards. Suitable edge protection will be needed in the form of guardrails to prevent the fall of people or materials. Access must be restricted to the area below the work using visible barriers. Warning signs indicating that the roof is fragile should be displayed at ground level. Protection should be provided in the form of covers where people work near to fragile materials and roof lights. The means of transporting materials to and from the roof may require netting under the roof and even weather protection. Precautions will be required for other hazards associated with roof work such as overhead services and obstructions, the use of equipment such as gas cylinders and bitumen boilers and manual handling. Only trained and competent persons must be allowed to work on roofs and they must wear footwear having a good grip. It is good practice to ensure that a person does not work alone on a roof. Define carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, tasteless and odorless gas. It causes headaches and breathlessness and at higher concentrations unconsciousness and death. The most common occurrence of carbon monoxide is in exhaust gas from a vehicle engine. Working in a vehicle repair garage without proper ventilation to exhaust gases would expose a person to carbon monoxide fumes. Define asbestos. Asbestos produces fine fibers which can become lodged in the lungs. This can lead to asbestosis, scarring of the lungs, lung cancer or mesothelioma, cancer of the lining of the lung. Asbestos can be found in buildings, in ceiling tiles and as lagging around heating pipes. When these sites are disturbed, the asbestos fibers become airborne and inhalable, affecting those engaged in maintenance or demolition work. Define Legionella bacteria. Legionella is an airborne bacterium and is found in a variety of warm water sources between and sea. It produces a form of pneumonia caused by the bacteria penetrating the alveoli in the lungs. The disease is known as Legionnaire's disease and has symptoms similar to influenza. The three most common systems at risk from the bacteria are water systems that incorporate a cooling tower, air conditioning units, and showers. People working on these systems or working in the area of infected systems are at risk, particularly if they are over years of age, and it affects men more than women. Define hepatitis virus. Hepatitis is a disease of the liver and can cause high temperatures, nausea, jaundice and liver failure. The virus can be transmitted from infected faces, hepatitis A, or by infected blood, hepatitis B and C. Hospital workers and first aiders who come into contact with blood products are at risk of hepatitis. Cause of inefficient local exhaust ventilation system, LEV. Deposits of dust on surfaces and people. Visible particles in the air. Discomfort and irritation by employees. Air monitoring reviews. Actual ill health in employees due to exposure to dusts, which could have reduced the LEV system's effectiveness. Poor design. Lack of planned testing. Lack of maintenance. Extraction hood too far from dust source. Damaged or blocked ducting or filters. System alterations, unauthorized. Settings incorrect. Faulty fan. Process changes that could lead to greater dust emissions. What is the methods of control airborne dust? Eliminating the process causing the dust. A change in process to reduce dust amounts. Substitution of materials, that is capsule form, pellets or liquid. Segregation or enclosure of the dust creation process. Damping down the dust for easier removal, such as vacuuming. Methods of cleaning so as not to disturb the dust, that is vacuuming instead of sweeping. What are the precautions to be taken? Pedestrians and vehicle movement areas. Segregation systems for vehicles and pedestrians. Clear and appropriate road markings. Visibility, mirrors, transparent doors, adequate lighting, etc. Vehicular audible warnings. Site rules. High visibility clothing. Good housekeeping. Training and supervision of all involved on site. What are the hazards of rotary floor polisher? Entanglement. Slips, trips and falls. Noise. Vibration. Electrical hazards. Ergonomic hazards. Possible chemical involvement of cleaning agents. What is the control measures of floor polisher? Guarding. Cable management. Isolation for the task of changing brushes. Appropriate non-slip footwear. Regular testing and maintenance. Residual current devices, RCDs. Training to ensure pre-use checks. What are the precautions needed when maintenance work is being carried out in an underground storage vessel? Permit to work. Risk assessment. Isolation. Pre-cleaning. Purging and testing the vessel's atmosphere. Safe means of access and egress. Appropriate tools, that is, non-spark. PPE. Appropriate lighting. Continual monitoring. Competent and trained personnel. Good communication systems between tank. Above ground workers, maintenance of detailed. Emergency procedures. Define excavation work. Examine the support structures weekly by competent person. Record examination. Inspect working part daily or per shift if deeper than 1 meter. Inspect support material before use. Support work done under supervision of competent person. No person to work in excavation unless competently examined. No projecting nails on support structure. No materials left near edges of excavation. Define work-related upper limb disorders, RULDs, symptoms. Back, neck and shoulder pain. Swollen joints. Reduced mobility and stiffness. Cramps and muscle fatigue, tiredness. How would increase the development of RULDs? Display screen equipment issues, DSE. Layout of workstation. Insufficient breaks from the task. Inadequate space leading to poor postures. Excessive force needed to carry out tasks. Frequency of the task. Vibrating tools, equipment. Pre-existing medical conditions. Pregnant women.
Please give comment and suggestions.
Thank you.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for more updates. Thank for visit our channel. See you next class.
Thank you.